Welcome back to Motivational Library. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into Robert Greene's The Laws of Human Nature.
Okay.
This book is like a fascinating exploration of all those hidden forces that are driving our behavior.
It really is.
I think it's so exciting that we can try to like uncover these secret laws and use them to, better understand ourselves and the people around us,
Definitely.
I mean, Greene's book is a real eye-opener.
It is.
He starts with a pretty bold claim. I mean, he's basically saying we're far more irrational than we'd like to think.
Yeah. And that's probably true for a lot of people.
So, I mean, what does he even mean by irrational?
Right. Right.
Like, we all like to think we're rational beings, making, logical decisions and everything.
Of course.
But Greene's argument is that our emotions, our biases, all our deep-seated desires are really kind of pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes, and we're not even aware of it.
He even uses the 2008 financial crash as like a prime example.
Oh, yeah, that's a great example.
You have all these supposedly rational investors making decisions based on logic and data.
Yeah.
And they get swept up
Yeah.
in this wave of like irrational exuberance.
It's true.
And then it leads to disastrous consequences for everyone.
Yeah, for everyone.
So if we're all like so irrational,
Yeah.
how can we ever hope to make good decisions?
Right. That's the question.
I mean, that's where Greene's insights become really powerful.
They do.
He says that like the first step to self-mastery is kind of
Recognizing
and accepting our own irrationality.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like we're shining a light
Yeah.
on these like blind spots,
Uh-huh.
all those hidden patterns that are actually driving our behavior.
Right.
So once we see them, we could start to, gain some control over them.
Yeah. You can't change what you don't know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not about becoming like perfectly rational,
Yeah.
but more about becoming more aware of the forces that are shaping our thinking. Definitely.
And one of the most fascinating areas I think Greene explores is nonverbal communication.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He was heavily influenced by
Milton Erickson. Yeah.
Milton Erickson, psychiatrist.
Right.
And, he believed that our bodies often reveal what our words conceal.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where it gets like really interesting for,
For everyone listening.
imagine being able to decode someone's true feelings.
Yeah.
Just by, observing their subtle cues.
Yeah, or like having a superpower, right?
It is kind of like a superpower.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever been in a situation where someone said one thing,
Oh, yeah, all the time.
but their body language just screamed something completely different?
Like the opposite, yeah.
Like when someone says they're fine, but their jaw is clenched, their arms are crossed.
That's real. Yeah.
Greene really points out these inconsistencies
He does.
and shows us how to pay attention to things like
Everything.
facial expressions, gestures,
Tone of voice.
vocal tones, everything.
All of it.
He says, like, a forced smile
Mm-hmm.
might be betrayed by, like, tension in the face.
Yeah.
So it reveals hidden hostility.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, learning to read those signals can give you a real advantage
Yeah.
in, like, any social situation.
In any situation.
It's like having a secret decoder ring
Uh-huh.
for human behavior.
It's true.
Absolutely. And Greene doesn't stop there.
No, he doesn't.
He goes on to explore some of the most, like, common and dangerous personality types we encounter, like the narcissist.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've all probably met someone
Of course.
who fits the description.
Totally.
Self-absorbed, attention-seeking, lack of empathy.
Yeah.
But Greene, like, digs deeper.
Mm-hmm.
He outlines different types of narcissists,
Right.
like what he calls deep narcissists.
Right.
And they can be really destructive.
Oh, yeah, they can be very dangerous.
He uses Howard Hughes as an example.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Hughes was brilliant, successful, but ultimately
Driven to self-destruction.
driven to self-destruction by his own grandiosity.
Yeah, by his own ego.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad in a way.
It is sad.
Yeah.
His need for attention and validation
Mm-hmm.
became so all-consuming that it just warped his reality
It does.
and led to all these disastrous decisions.
Yeah.
How can we spot these deep narcissists
Right.
before they, wreak havoc in our lives?
Yeah. What are the red flags?
What are the red flags?
Yeah.
Greene highlights a few key patterns.
Okay.
First, pay attention to how they treat other people.
Okay.
Deep narcissists often see others as like mere extensions of themselves.
Yeah, just tools to be used.
Yeah, tools to be used.
For their own validation.
Yeah, for their own validation.
Yeah.
They'll manipulate, control, and isolate people to get what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're masters at creating drama and chaos, always needing to be,
The center of
the
attention.
center of attention.
Yeah.
Another telltale sign is their inability to handle
Criticism.
even the smallest amount.
Right. Like, even a hint of disapproval can trigger
A narcissistic rage.
to narcissistic rage.
Yeah.
So if you're dealing with someone who exhibits these traits, it's best to proceed with extreme caution.
Yeah, definitely.
Protecting yourself might mean, setting firm boundaries.
Yes.
Or even distancing yourself altogether.
Yeah, sometimes that's the only way.
Yeah, sometimes that's the only way.
You protect yourself, yeah.
Now, shifting gears a bit,
Okay.
Greene also explores another dark emotion that can have a profound impact. Envy?
The green-eyed monster.
Green-eyed monster. We've all felt its sting.
At some point, yeah.
But Greene goes beyond the surface. He dissects, the anatomy of envy. He argues that it's not just wanting what someone else has.
It's deeper than that.
It's rooted in these feelings of inferiority.
Right.
And this desire to diminish the other person's success. Right, because if I can't have it, then you shouldn't either.
It's this twisted sense of fairness.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Like, if I can't excel, then you shouldn't either.
Exactly.
He uses the story of Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein,
Oh, wow.
and her friendship with Jane Williams.
Okay.
It illustrates how envy can, fester beneath the surface
Interesting.
of a friendship and lead to, subtle sabotage.
Wow.
And even, outright betrayal.
That's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with this destructive emotion, both in ourselves and in others?
That's the question, yeah.
Greene argues that awareness is key.
Makes sense.
Recognizing the signs of envy in ourselves and others can help us neutralize its power.
Okay.
It's about, catching ourselves before we get swept up in those negative thought patterns.
Those negative thought spirals, yeah.
And when it comes to other people's envy, recognizing the signs can help us protect ourselves. We can distance ourselves, or at least engage with caution.
Right.
It's like learning to spot poisonous plants.
Oh, we like that.
Once you know what to look for,
Yeah.
you can avoid getting stung.
You can avoid the poison.
Now, so far we've been focusing on some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, we have.
Irrationality, narcissism, envy.
The dark side of human nature.
But Greene doesn't just leave us in the darkness.
Okay, good.
He also offers strategies for harnessing our own power.
Okay.
And that starts with, taming the beast within our own aggression.
Interesting.
So how do we even embrace our aggressive energy without letting it,
Turn destructive.
become destructive?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That is the question.
How do we do that?
Greene argues that aggression, like many emotions, has both positive and negative aspects.
Okay.
Think of someone like John D. Rockefeller,
Oh, yeah.
the oil tycoon.
Yeah.
Rockefeller was a master
Of a controlled aggression.
of a controlled aggression.
He had to be in that business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used his ambition and his ruthlessness to build a vast empire. But he was also strategic
Yeah.
and calculating in his approach.
He was smart.
He understood the importance of choosing his battles and fighting them with precision.
Interesting.
So for us, it's about finding that balance in our own lives.
Right.
Channeling our aggression into productive pursuits
Yeah.
without, succumbing to the dark side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's where self-awareness comes in.
Again, yeah.
Recognizing our aggressive impulses allows us to direct them
Okay.
towards achieving our goals,
Yeah.
overcoming obstacles,
Yeah.
and even defending ourselves
When necessary, yeah.
when
Or
necessary.
necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about mastering that inner energy,
Hmm.
not letting it master us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's important to remember that aggression can take many forms,
Oh, yeah.
including the surprisingly dangerous passive-aggressive type.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
How can we recognize a passive-aggressive person?
How can we recognize a passive-aggressive person?
Yeah.
Their behavior is often subtle, disguised. It's about expressing hostility indirectly
Okay.
through things like, backhanded compliments,
Yeah.
procrastination, or intentional inefficiency.
Right.
So it's not about open confrontation.
Right.
It's more about undermining and manipulating.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it can be so frustrating
Oh, it's incredibly frustrating.
because they'll deny any ill intentions.
Yeah, they always do.
They're the masters of plausible deniability.
Exactly.
So how do we deal with these types?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It can be tricky.
It can be.
Direct confrontation often backfires.
Yeah, because they'll just deny it.
Because they'll just deny any wrongdoing.
Yeah.
A more effective approach is to just call them out on their behavior. Calmly, factually.
Yeah.
Without, like, accusing them of malicious intent. For example, you could say, I noticed that you haven't completed the task we agreed upon. Is there something preventing you from finishing it?
Okay.
So it takes the focus off of their intentions.
Right.
And puts it on their actions.
Okay.
Which are harder to deny.
Yeah, that's true.
It forces them to either address the issue or expose their, manipulative tactics.
Yeah, that's good.
We've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
Irrationality, nonverbal communication, narcissism, envy, and aggression.
A lot of heavy stuff.
It's a lot to digest.
Yeah, it is.
But it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
And it all kind of points to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the people around us.
The people around us, yeah.
Ultimately, that understanding can empower us.
For sure.
To make better choices, build stronger relationships, and achieve our goals.
Absolutely.
By becoming more aware of, like, these hidden forces that drive human behavior, we can navigate the world with, greater clarity, confidence, and purpose.
Absolutely.
But there's still so much more to explore in the laws of human nature.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, we have. Indeed, we have a lot more to go.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve into Greene's insights on gender roles,
the
power of purpose, and even our relationship with death.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned for more.
I will.
And if you're enjoying this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to Motivation Library.
Yes.
And like this video.
It helps us out a lot.
Your support helps us keep bringing you these insightful explorations into the world of self-improvement.
Absolutely.
We'll see you in part 2.
See ya.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Robert Greene's The Laws of Human Nature.
It's good to be back.
In the last part, we explored some pretty,
intense emotions
like narcissism, envy, aggression.
Yeah, the dark side.
But now I think we can shift gears a bit.
Okay.
And delve into a more, I guess, empowering aspect.
Right.
Greene's insights on gender roles.
Yeah.
This is where I think Greene really challenges conventional thinking.
Yeah, he does.
He argues that, we all possess both masculine and feminine qualities.
That's interesting.
Regardless of our biological sex.
Okay, so what does that mean in, practical terms?
Well, think about it. I mean, we're often taught from a young age to conform to certain gender stereotypes.
Right, like boys should be assertive and competitive,
Right.
and girls should be nurturing and emotional.
Exactly.
Yeah, those can be really limiting.
Its expectations can be incredibly limiting.
Yeah.
And Greene argues that, by repressing certain aspects of ourselves, we become rigid,
Right.
inflexible in our thinking and our relationships.
Okay.
He calls this the law of gender rigidity.
Oh, okay.
And he believes that by embracing both our masculine and feminine qualities, we can become more whole, more authentically ourselves.
So instead of, just playing the expected gender role, we should be creating one that suits us.
Precisely. And by integrating those, seemingly opposite qualities, we unlock a wider range of emotions, thoughts, and behaviors.
Makes sense.
We become more adaptable, more fluid in our approach to life.
That's a good thing.
It raises a really important question for you.
Okay.
Are you expressing your full self? Are you allowing yourself to experience the full spectrum of human emotions?
Okay.
Regardless of gender stereotypes?
That's a good question.
That's a powerful question to consider.
It is.
Greene uses the example of Coco Chanel to illustrate this.
Oh, interesting.
She was a woman who defied gender norms,
She did, yeah.
embracing both her masculine and feminine qualities to achieve incredible success.
Yeah, she was ahead of her time.
She was a true innovator, not just in fashion,
Right.
but in her whole approach to life.
Yeah, she didn't care what people thought.
She wasn't afraid to challenge conventions
Right.
and create her own path.
And it worked.
Precisely. And that's the key takeaway here. By breaking free from these rigid gender roles, we unlock our creativity,
Yeah.
discover hidden strengths.
It's like we're not putting ourselves in a box.
It's about embracing our individuality, not trying to fit into these predefined boxes.
Totally.
And that leads us to another crucial theme in Greene's book, the power of purpose.
Okay.
He argues that having a clear sense of purpose is essential for overcoming distractions, boredom, and even burnout.
Yeah, I can see that.
When we have a clear why driving our actions, It gives us the motivation to keep going,
It pushes you forward.
even when things get tough.
Yeah, when things get tough, that's when you really need it.
It's like having an internal compass guiding us through life's challenges.
I like that analogy.
Greene used some inspiring examples like Martin Luther King Jr.'s unwavering commitment to the civil rights movement.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Dr. King's life is like a testament to the power of purpose.
It really is.
He faced incredible adversity, but his dedication to his cause never wavered.
It's inspiring.
It's inspiring.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of resilience that a strong sense of purpose can provide.
Totally.
So how do we find our own purpose?
Yeah.
It's easy to say, follow your passion.
Right. But it's not always that simple.
It's not always that simple.
No.
Greene doesn't offer a magic formula,
Okay.
but he does provide some practical strategies.
Like what?
He emphasizes the importance of deep self-reflection,
Okay.
exploring our interests, our values, even our frustrations.
Wow, makes sense.
He also talks about the importance of finding mentors, those who can guide and inspire us on our journey.
Finding people you admire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he stresses the importance of experimentation. It's about trying different things, seeing what resonates with us, and then kind of refining our focus over time.
So you don't have to have it all figured out at once.
He uses the example of Anton Chekhov,
Okay.
the famous playwright,
Yeah.
to illustrate this. Chekhov didn't start out with, like, this clear sense of purpose.
Right.
He experimented with different forms of writing before finding his true calling.
So it's a process. It takes time.
And that's the message for you.
Okay.
It's okay to not have all the answers right away.
That's good to hear.
You know, the journey itself is part of the process.
Yeah.
By being open to new experiences and challenges, we can gradually uncover our own unique path.
So be curious. Be open.
It's about being curious, being open to possibilities, and being willing to take risks.
Yeah.
And that brings us to perhaps the most thought-provoking theme
Okay.
in Greene's book,
Okay.
his perspective on death.
Oh, wow.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Most people avoid thinking about death.
Right. Yeah, most people do.
But Greene argues that confronting our mortality can be a powerful motivator for living a more meaningful life.
Okay. Explain that.
What's fascinating is how Greene flips the script on, like, our usual fear of death. He suggests that by embracing its inevitability, we can diminish our anxieties
Okay. Yeah.
and live more fully in the present.
So, like, instead of running from death, we should be running towards it.
In a sense, yes.
Okay.
By acknowledging the finite nature of our existence, we can appreciate the preciousness of each moment
I can see that.
and make more conscious choices about how we spend our time.
That makes sense.
He uses the example of Flannery O'Connor,
Okay.
the Southern Gothic writer, to illustrate this.
Okay.
O'Connor faced a debilitating illness throughout her adult life.
Oh, wow.
And yet she used that experience to, like, deepen her faith, her creativity, and her appreciation for the beauty of everyday life.
Wow, that's powerful.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
O'Connor's life is a testament to the transformative power of, facing our mortality.
Okay.
It's about finding meaning in the face of adversity, not letting fear paralyze us.
Absolutely.
And that's the challenge Greene poses to us all. How can we use the awareness of death, not to despair,
Right.
but to inspire us to live more authentically,
Yeah.
more courageously, and more fully in the present?
That's a great question.
It is a powerful question to ponder.
It is.
So what are some, like, practical steps we can take to embrace this perspective?
Right. How do we actually do that?
Greene suggests starting with small acts of mindfulness.
Okay.
Take a moment each day to reflect on, the fragility of life, the impermanence of all things.
Okay.
Notice the beauty in the mundane,
Yeah.
the simple pleasures that we often take for granted.
That's good advice.
He also talks about cultivating gratitude,
Okay.
appreciating the people in our lives and the experiences we've been given.
Right.
And perhaps most importantly, he encourages us to, like, focus on what truly matters to us.
Okay, so, like, what is our legacy?
What do we want our legacy to be?
Yeah.
What impact do we want to make on the world?
It's about living with intention.
It's about living with intention,
Yeah.
not letting our lives slip away in a haze of distractions and regrets.
Absolutely.
And that's really the ultimate message of Greene's book.
What is it?
By confronting the truths of human nature, both the light and the dark,
Yeah.
we unlock our potential for growth, creativity, and even a deeper sense of meaning and purpose.
That's deep.
It's about embracing the full spectrum of human experience,
Okay.
the good, the bad, and the inevitable.
Yeah.
And by doing so, we can create lives that are richer, more fulfilling,
Yeah.
and ultimately more aligned with our truest selves.
I love that. Powerful stuff.
But we're not done yet.
Oh, there's more.
There's one final aspect of Greene's The Laws of Human Nature
Okay.
that's crucial for navigating the complexities of modern life.
Okay. What is it?
His insights on group dynamics and social intelligence.
Ah, okay. The social animal within us all.
Greene argues that we're profoundly influenced by the groups we belong to,
Makes sense.
often more than we realize.
Yeah, probably.
So let's dive into that.
Oh.
What are some of the key takeaways?
Yeah.
Greene starts by acknowledging our, primal need to belong. He points out that we're wired for social connection,
Okay.
and our behavior changes when we're part of a group.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Think of, the energy of a sporting event or a political rally.
Yeah,
There's this collective feeling in the air,
definitely.
a shared sense of excitement.
Or purpose.
Or purpose.
Yeah.
And that can be both exhilarating and dangerous.
How so?
So how do we harness the positive aspects of group dynamics
Right.
while avoiding the pitfalls?
It's a good question.
Greene emphasizes the importance of self-awareness again.
Okay, so know thyself.
We need to understand how our thinking and behavior shift when we're part of a group.
Right.
He uses the example of the Chinese Cultural Revolution
Oh, wow.
to illustrate how easily people can get swept up in groupthink and mob mentality.
Yeah, it can be really scary.
It's a chilling example of how, our critical thinking can be suspended when we're surrounded by like-minded individuals
Right.
and influenced by, charismatic leaders.
It's a good point.
So how do we protect ourselves from falling prey to those kinds of dynamics?
Yeah, how do we avoid that?
Greene offers several strategies.
Okay.
First, he stresses the importance of cultivating independent thinking.
Okay, so don't just go with the flow.
Don't just accept what you're told.
Yeah.
Question assumptions,
Mm-hmm.
consider alternative perspectives,
Okay.
and form your own conclusions.
Be your own person.
He also talks about the importance of finding a balance
Okay.
between cooperation and autonomy.
Okay.
We need to, work effectively with others while maintaining our individuality and integrity.
So work together, but don't lose yourself.
Precisely. And that requires developing what he calls social intelligence.
Okay, interesting.
It's about understanding the unspoken rules of social interaction, reading people's motivations,
Yeah.
adapting our behavior accordingly.
So it's like a skill you can develop.
He even provides a typology of different court characters.
Characters.
Those who thrive in social environments by mastering the art of manipulation.
Okay.
And while we don't want to become, master manipulators ourselves,
Right.
it's helpful to understand their tactics
Yeah.
so we can, recognize and defend against them.
So we don't get played.
It's about being savvy,
Mm.
not naive when it comes to social interactions.
Okay, that's good advice.
And that's the key takeaway here.
Okay.
By understanding the laws of human nature,
Yeah.
we can navigate the complexities of group dynamics with greater awareness, skill, and ultimately success.
Okay, so how do we improve our social intelligence then?
Greene suggests starting by becoming a more astute observer of human behavior.
Okay.
Pay attention to people's body language, tone of voice,
Yeah.
those subtle cues that reveal their underlying motivations.
Like we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He also talks about learning to read between the lines,
Okay.
understanding the unspoken messages
Yeah.
conveyed through, gestures, expressions, even silences.
All right. It's not all about the words.
And finally, he encourages us to practice empathy,
Okay.
trying to see the world from other people's perspectives,
Yeah.
even those who are different from us.
That's important.
It's about becoming more attuned to, the nuances of human interaction,
Yeah.
not just focusing on the surface level.
Look deeper.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And by developing these skills,
Yeah.
we can build stronger relationships,
Mm-hmm.
influence others more effectively,
Yeah.
and create more harmonious social environments.
That's a good goal.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
We've covered so much ground,
We have.
from our primal instincts
Mm-hmm.
to the power of purpose to the importance of social intelligence.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's a testament to, the richness and complexity of Robert Greene's the laws of human nature.
Absolutely.
And I think our listeners are ready for the final piece of the puzzle.
Oh, there's one more piece. What is it?
Greene's 5 strategies for becoming a master persuader.
Oh, okay. The art of influence.
Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll delve into those strategies and explore how they can be applied to like all areas of life.
Looking forward to it.
Don't miss it. And in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to Motivation Library.
Yes.
And like this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you these insightful explorations into the world of self-improvement.
We appreciate it.
We'll see you in part 3.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the laws of human nature.
Okay, we're finally here.
Over the last 2 parts, we uncovered some, pretty profound insights about ourselves and the forces that shape our behavior.
That's right.
And now we're ready to tackle one of the most, I guess, practical and, let's be honest, intriguing aspects of Greene's book, his 5 strategies for becoming a master persuader.
I like it.
It's exciting to think we can learn from history's greatest persuaders and apply those strategies to our own lives.
Absolutely.
So where do we begin?
Yeah, how do we become master persuader?
Greene's first strategy might surprise you.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of transforming yourself into a deep listener.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so most people think persuasion is about, being a smooth talker.
Right.
But you're saying it starts with listening.
Absolutely. Deep listening goes far beyond just passively hearing
Okay.
what someone is saying.
Yeah.
It's about actively engaging with the other person, not just waiting for your turn to speak.
Okay, so how do we actually do that?
It's about paying attention to their, nonverbal cues,
Right.
their tone of voice, those subtle nuances that reveal their true feelings and motivations.
So we have to pay attention to more than just the words.
It's almost like becoming a detective, trying to uncover the hidden meanings behind their words.
That's a good way to put it.
By doing that, you create a sense of trust and connection that makes them more receptive to your ideas.
Because they feel heard.
They feel heard, they feel understood, and that lowers their defenses.
Makes sense.
Making them more open to your perspective.
So it's about building rapport first.
Exactly. And that leads us to Greene's second strategy.
Okay.
Confirming your target's self-opinion.
Okay. This sounds tricky.
This sounds like it could be tricky.
Yeah, like we don't want to come across as insincere or manipulative.
It's not about flattery or empty praise. It's about finding, genuine points of connection. Recognizing their strengths, acknowledging their achievements.
So making them feel good about themselves.
In an authentic way.
Yeah, but in an authentic way.
And by doing so, you create a more positive, collaborative dynamic, which makes them more likely to be persuaded by your arguments.
So it's about appealing to their, better angels.
It's about appealing to their better angels,
yeah,
not their insecurities.
Okay.
And that brings us to the third strategy, creating a sense of obligation.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Now, this one might sound a bit, Machiavellian, but Greene argues that it's a subtle art.
Okay, so how do we create that sense of obligation without being manipulative?
It could be much more subtle than you think.
Okay.
It could be as simple as offering genuine help or support when someone needs it, or expressing appreciation for their contributions.
So you're planting seeds of goodwill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That can later blossom into a sense of obligation.
Okay, I like that.
By doing so, you create a more favorable environment for persuasion.
Because they feel like they owe you one.
They'll be more inclined to, return the favor by considering your requests
Right.
or supporting your ideas.
Okay.
It's about building a foundation of reciprocity,
Makes sense.
not exploiting people's vulnerabilities.
Okay.
Now, moving on to Greene's fourth strategy,
Okay.
mirroring and echoing your target's values and beliefs.
Okay, so finding common ground.
This is about finding common ground,
Yeah.
showing them that you understand and respect their perspective.
Right, you're on the same page.
So you're aligning yourself with their worldview,
Yeah.
making them feel like you're on the same team.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. And by doing so, you lower their resistance and make them more open to your suggestions.
Okay.
It's not about pretending to agree with everything they say,
Right.
but about finding areas of overlap
Yeah.
and emphasizing shared values.
Okay.
It's about building rapport,
Makes sense.
not being a chameleon.
Right. Okay.
And finally, we come to Greene's fifth and perhaps most controversial strategy,
Okay.
planting seeds of doubt.
Oh, okay.
This is about subtly undermining their confidence
Okay.
in their own beliefs or position,
So making them question what they think.
making them more receptive to your alternative perspective.
This one sounds like it could backfire.
It definitely requires finesse.
Yeah.
It's not about attacking their beliefs directly,
Okay.
but about raising questions, introducing alternative viewpoints,
Right.
encouraging them to, re-examine their assumptions.
So it's like you're creating a crack in their armor.
Precisely.
Okay.
And by doing so, you can open their minds to new possibilities
Okay.
and make them more willing to consider your perspective.
That's interesting.
These are some, pretty powerful strategies.
They are, yeah.
It's clear that Robert Greene has put a lot of thought into the art of persuasion.
Yes.
And while these strategies can be used for good or ill,
Yeah.
the key takeaway is that understanding human nature is essential for effective communication and influence.
So we have to know ourselves.
It's about using our knowledge wisely,
Right.
not just to get what we want, but to create, more positive and productive interactions.
More harmonious interactions.
Exactly. And by mastering these strategies, we can become more persuasive communicators,
Okay.
build stronger relationships, and achieve our goals more effectively.
That's what we all want.
I think our listeners are ready to start putting these strategies into practice.
Me too.
But before we wrap up, I want to emphasize one final point.
Okay.
Robert Greene's The Laws of Human Nature is not a how-to manual for manipulation.
Right.
It's a profound exploration of human behavior.
Yeah.
And it's up to each of us to use this knowledge responsibly.
Absolutely.
It's about understanding ourselves and others more deeply, so we can create a world that's more compassionate, more just,
Yeah.
and ultimately more fulfilling for everyone.
Well said.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Robert Greene's The Laws of Human Nature.
It's been a journey.
It's been an incredible journey,
It has.
exploring the depths of human behavior and uncovering the secrets of self-mastery.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground, from our primal instincts
Yeah.
to the complexities of social dynamics, and even touched on the art of persuasion.
Lots of good stuff.
We hope you've gained valuable insights
Me too.
that you
Wow.
can apply to your own life.
Absolutely.
And if you're looking for more deep dives into the world of self-improvement,
Yeah.
don't forget to subscribe to Motivation Library.
And like this video.
Your support helps us keep bringing you these insightful explorations.
We appreciate it.
Until next time, keep learning
Keep growing.
and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.
I like it.